So before we talk about the fellowship, I wanted to tell you a little bit about who the Children's Movement is, and who will you be joining in this advocacy moment. And so the Children's Movement works with families, providers, and community leaders and others to ensure that every child has the opportunity to thrive during their first 5 years. And so our work focuses on three priority areas, which include early learning, childcare, VPK, infant and toddler care, early intervention, etc., healthcare, thinking about maternal and child health, and also support for parents. So thinking about what are the supports that parents in our communities that we all need to thrive, to be better part and live every day in Florida. And so we work alongside with you all because we believe that it takes all of us to create better outcomes for children. And so our mission goes beyond advocating for policies. We also work to elevate the importance of early childhood, creating opportunities for children to succeed, connecting communities with resources, and supporting families in meaningful ways. And so you'll see all of these logos on your screen, and that's part about connecting communities. And so we often say that we're conveners, and that's through all of the initiatives that we our champion, that we partner with different community leaders all across Florida. And so one thing that you'll hear us often say is that parents are experts of their own children. And parents don't just deserve a seat at the table, they belong at the table whenever decisions are being made about children. And so we're really excited that you're all here to be part of the movement, and be part of this advocacy efforts for our youngest children. I'll pass it to Heather.
Okay, so we're going to go into the Parent Leadership Network, and what is it? So the Parent Leadership Network is a leadership fellowship, and it's created specifically for parents and caregivers. So yay for us, right? Anybody who's a parent and a caregiver, there is a space for you. You matter in this work. This is not about having prior advocacy experience. Sometimes that can be really intimidating for people. You don't need to have that. You don't need to know anything about policy because you will learn everything about policy in this group. And you don't need to have spoken to a legislator before. That is really, you will get experiences with that as well, but you do not need that. What matters most is that you care deeply about improving the lives of children and families, particularly in the state of Florida. We are very passionate about making sure that we fulfill the work here. Through this fellowship, you'll learn how Florida's early childhood system works, how policy affects everyday families, how to confidently tell your story, and you will tell your story over and over again. And I mentioned that you do matter, your story matters, and how to advocate for those solutions, that matters as well. So we'll be doing that. You'll also build relationships with parents from across Florida who are passionate about making a difference here in Florida. And so there will be friendships that will sprout up that will last a lifetime. Your children will actually get to know each other as well. So it's a really heartwarming, fulfilling experience.
Thank you, Heather. So, as Heather said, we are very excited to have you being introduced to the reason why we're doing this. Advocacy sometimes is a word that sounds a little bit big for parents because we as parents, we are living life, right? We are raising our children, we are finding solutions in front of us. But we advocate actually all the time when we are parents. Whenever we encounter an obstacle, there we are, right? Right there for our children and asking for the right things for what we think they need. Daniela mentioned how we consider each of you the experts in your own child. And being an advocate means that, right? Means to speak on what our child needs. So we created this network as a platform for you to bring those stories and those everyday challenges to something that is more exposed to the leaders in the different communities. We all know that great legislation has come from those individual experiences, and we want to build that bridge for you. So it's beautiful to say that you don't need to have that experience. You will learn how to bring that story into new spaces and new places. and you will decide how much of that, how far you want to go. So it's a leadership program because we already consider you leaders. And there, if you browse leadership programs online, you will find tons of leadership programs everywhere for different kinds of professionals. We wanted to focus in our Florida parents because you asked for it and because we also believe that those voices are needed. In terms of timeline for our program, this is around a 6 months program in all overall, right? So today you are participating in this info session. We're going to have another one on July 29th that is going to go live as well as just this one. So if you have someone that would want to invite to come and learn what this is about, that's the opportunity for them to register to that. Um, then application period opens today, meaning that after this session, if you are interested, go ahead and apply. It will take you a little bit because we will ask some questions that will need your thoughtful responses, but that doesn't mean that you cannot make it possible, right? So it will be open until August 20th, so almost a month for you to review the application, take your time in responding, gathering the information you need. It's not anything that you don't know, because to be very honest with you, what we need you is your experience as a parent. What you need to apply is your experience as a parent, and that is there. So you don't need to make it very different from your own experience. That is exactly what we're looking for in your application. Then we're going to go into a review process that will take us a few weeks. There's a specific group of experts and including parents from our first cohort. So we will all review applications together. We will select from them some finalists. And I want to make this very clear because it's important. Finalists are going to be those parents that fulfill the interest of becoming a voice for parents in our state. So if you have other roles, if you're a parent, if you have other roles, we highly recommend you to focus on your parent role because this fellowship is created for the parents. We appreciate that you might be a child professional, you might be a teacher, you might be a community server. Those things are important, but try to make your application focused on your parent experience because that's what the reviewers are looking for, because that's the space that is missing in our state, the space for the parents and for the parent stories, right? And that is what impacts our legislation, not just the legislators, also the other systems, the systems that you have at school, the systems that you have in place in your county. Different systems are impacted by the parent stories. If we don't get those stories out, our leadership are not going to learn about them. So community servers, educators, they have their own spaces to advocate. This is a space for parents to advocate. So make sure that in your application, you highlight very well your parent experience. Then we will notify your, so I love that. Parents of children of any ages? That's a good question. We open the applications for parents going through not that old up to 10-year-old. So we have not that set up in stone because there are so many different experiences and we don't want to close the door for anyone, but usually is in the age frame from birth to age 10 because you are just experiencing that advocacy piece on the early childhood world, right? So I would not limit other parents from applying because it depends also in the kind of story and how much of that experience you can bring into reality with your story. But the experience we have so far, we've worked with parents from those age ranges. Thank you for the question. So we will notify finalists on September 15th or during that week. And after that, here comes the fun. Program kicks off with an in-person retreat. That means we'll bring you all together in some beautiful place in Florida, and we will treat you, we will spoil you, but we will also expect that you give your 100% during that retreat in terms of the activities, the sessions we have, the engagement, right? We don't expect for you to be an observer. We expect for you to be actively participating in everything we're building, because a leader needs to be involved, right? Needs to bring the passion. That's what you bring to this program, your passion, your initiative, your proactiveness, all of that we expect for you to start. Like you put play on that starting our retreat. So that is a weekend we spend together. We meet you all on a Friday night. We have activities throughout the weekend, and we let you go on the Sunday afternoon for that kickoff retreat. Then in between, we have three virtual sessions. Each of them are 90 minutes. And I will tell you, they're lovely. You will not regret to dedicate 90 minutes in front of a screen, because we have great speakers for you, different topics, things that you really care for. And it's also everything runs around your own experience and your own story. So how you can implement those tools, those skills, those new learnings into your story as a parent. And then the three sessions happen from early December, late January, and end of March next year. And then last big thing that we do together is our graduation celebration. We don't have a date yet for that, but it's another moment where we get together in person. And we call it a graduation because graduation means a milestone, but it's really your initiation as a leader in your own communities. So it's another beautiful moment for us to gather. And again, that is not a Friday to Sunday, that is a Saturday to Sunday. It's a reduced program because we are basically wrapping everything up and going through some trials and tests and evaluations, if you want to call them that way. Just the final test for everybody. But it's always very fun. And again, we treat you, we spoil you, we provide all the accommodations for you. Because the other thing we had realized is that most of these spaces are not open for parents because we have too much to think about before we make a decision to participate in something. So what we have been very intentional in this program is that we think for you on all those things that you need to take care of so that you can be fully present in the program. Let's go to the next slide, please. Do you have any questions at this point with dates? It's just information at this moment. Thank you. So what happens when you are a fellow, right? You participate in these training sessions, in interactive workshops, and you develop those skills. You also develop greater awareness and knowledge of the resources that are available for parents. We know that there's a lot, and especially in our state, our early childhood system is very complicated to understand. So we might know that I had received this service or that I had used this resource, but maybe with a different name, or maybe I don't connect it to the big picture of the whole state. Oh, my whole state is investing our state taxes money in this program that I use, so then I can connect. Wow, this was really helpful in my experience as a parent. Or I had a really bad experience because I didn't receive what I got and there was a gap in my community. So you, with this experience as a fellow, you will be able to put your story in the context of the whole state and the programs and the services and the resources that are available for parents 0 to 5. You will also have the opportunity to connect with state leaders and policymakers in all our sessions. I just need to say that in all our sessions, we have that opportunity, and we make sure that you get that connection, personal connection you need with the not only legislators, but also other community leaders that are decision makers so that you get exposed to them. Then we have you will be receiving updates about all the work that the children movement is doing, and of course, including legislative updates during legislative session, which usually happens the first 3 months of the year. When you graduate, you will become an alumni for the Florida Parent Leadership Network. Now we have a first cohort of 14 parents that have graduated, and they are all doing amazing things in their communities. You will also have the opportunity to support our future fellows. So you will get to meet the ones from the previous cohort. They will be involved in some of the activities we do with you. You can also participate in sharing your story when we go to Children's Week in Tallahassee. So some of our participants, depending on the kind of legislation that is being proposed during that session and how much that connects to your county, to your community, to your issue, we will schedule meetings for you. So that's super important. And then you will also become a resource. We oftentimes get calls from the news, or we do editor letters, or we do all kinds of promotional, and they are looking for those parent voices, and it's hard to find. So we are creating this pool of parents that when someone in Sarasota media calls us, we can say, oh yeah, I have a parent over there that you can talk to, and you can talk about that story particularly, so you become a resource for your community and especially for media so that they know who to go to. Let's keep going. So a recap on next steps would be, today you're attending the info session. If you're interested, you will apply from today until August 20th. We go into the review process. We notify the finalists, and we have our in-person retreat, 90-minute sessions, graduation. Important for us to highlight here that you will need to travel, right? So you will need to make travel arrangements in terms of your jobs or plan to be a weekend out. Those things are required. There's only one virtual session that is optional, but actually none of our participants in the previous cohort missed it because the two others were so good that they didn't want to miss a thing. So at the end, everybody participated in that third one too. But there's a commitment coming from you too for this. We don't know a place yet, but we try to make it central to Florida. So we might go a little bit north on this time. We're still finding quotes and good opportunities for us to bring all the group together, but there's not a venue decided yet. It's usually a place where you would not need to drive more than 5 hours, if that makes sense for Florida. How to get the most out of this? Take advantage of all the sessions. Be there, be prepared. We usually send who's going to be the speaker, a little bit of background on the speaker. Of course, we ask you to be on time, to be engaged, to stay connected between meetings. We have other activities that we do, like one-on-ones, the coaching sessions that Heather was mentioning. We do follow-ups with you. We are always available for you, Maureen, Heather, myself, and the Children's Movement team. I think I've frozen, but I'm good. You can still hear me, right? And we also we ask you to provide continuous feedback. So you will receive surveys, and if you need to provide some feedback that is outside of a survey, of course, we're here for that too. We do ask you to keep track of all your receipts because we work towards reimbursements, and that is processed in the office. So we need to follow the correct, we need to follow the correct steps for that. And then, of course, as I said, you can let us know if anything arises. Let's get to the next one. Now it's time for your questions. I see some coming in the chat. We had responded
Mhm.
to others. Maureen, I don't know if I missed something. You want to add something? And from your experience working with the parents, anything that you can recommend to this potential applicants?
Yes, it's been a really positive experience. One of the things that I want to make sure that I re-emphasize is that this is a fellowship that is about you and your family. So it is when you come to the opening retreat and the closing retreat, you will have your spouse or your partner, you will have your children there, your children will get a chance. So this is a family opportunity that you are leading in the advocacy in that way. And so it is really something very special that I know oftentimes you all are asked to do things and you're asked to kind of make arrangements. And this is a very holistic process in that your family gets to participate in these face-to-face meetings that you will be there. And it's very special. I noticed someone asked about where the retreat is. I'm not sure if all of those details have been designated yet, but also when you get there, you will be treated extremely well, well taken care of, really good food, really good accommodations for not just you, but accommodations for you and your family. So we're excited to work with you all and excited to get a chance to meet you and your families in this process.
Oh, Tyler, I see you also want to know the place. We don't know yet, but as I
Mhm.
said, it's not a longer drive than 5 hours drive. That's the range that we try to use from everywhere in the state. We had some feedback from last year that we might go a little bit up in the area of Jacksonville area, but we are still finding that. Um, Now I'm gonna turn that question back to you guys because since you're here already, we what would be the place you would not be able to go? If there's any place in Florida, you say, oh no, that's not a, I cannot be there. Is there anything that will limit you from applying because of the reason? That could also be helpful for us to understand from the parent perspective. In the previous cohort, we had a group of parents that had already been working with us for a while, so they were used to our events and our activities, and it was easier for them to manage that part. For the new parents, um, they were all committed to come to where they were expected to be. And that is part of the commitment you take because it is required in terms of you getting the full program to participate in that first retreat. So the first retreat for the cohort number one happened in Sarasota, and then graduation happened in Orlando. So that gives you a little bit of an idea on how we did things the first time. Yes, I like to read that. I don't have any location restrictions. Beautiful. And everything is reimbursed. So travel expenses, hotel is covered, all the meals are covered for the weekend, and childcare is offered. So you can travel with your friends. I mean, with your children, not with your friends. I'm sorry. You can travel with your children. I was thinking invite your friends to apply. You can travel with your children and we will make sure that, as Maureen said, you can be focused on learning and experiencing what the program is. And then your children will also be developing friendships because this is another thing that, in addition to everything that happened in this beautiful program, the kids become friends. So when they see each other a few months after, they are, oh, yeah, I know you from this and that, and I want to go there and I want to be there. And you see in this picture in our background, two of the kids of our parents in the first cohort are just having a very deep conversation about their parents' experiences throughout the fellowship with those posters in the back. So it's something very beautiful. Um, I see there's Lyle, is it Lyle? Lyle? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. She said, or excited to go anywhere in Florida. Oh, we love that. 3 virtual meetings and the retreat. Do we need to do anything else like reading books or are registering for a course? You don't need to register for a course. You will receive recommendations of readings and things that you can do to develop. You will receive materials. In each of the presentation, there's always resources. We will explain the legislative process for you. And so there are things that you will receive as resources. You don't need to register to something in addition. Just participate in the actual activities that we program for you. Any other question? Oh, I don't have any concerns about location as long as it's in Florida. Yeah, it will be in Florida. And also, you know what happened last time? People were like, I have never been in Sarasota. I've never. I didn't know how beautiful this place is. So that also, right? Like expanding those boundaries, or even sometimes my experience as a parent hadn't allowed me to, because I'm so focused in parenting that I cannot plan another thing. So it's also that. It's also the exposure, not just to the leadership piece, not just to the advocacy piece, but also to a personal break with this program. And that helps your story, that helps you as a leader, that helps your advocacy pathway. All those experiences together will take you to the next level of where you are right now. So we really encourage you to consider applying. Okay, so now we're going to share with you, I think that's what's next. We have our colleague Victoria behind the scenes, and now we encourage you to take some action. Daniela, you want to go over this part?
Yes, and I'm also very excited to see where you all will go on your retreat. Because like Rocio said, there are so many beautiful places to discover in Florida that I have yet to discover as well. And so we want you all to stay connected, even though if you're not selected this year, deciding to apply, there are many ways to stay connected to the movement, and to engage in advocacy in many ways. One is following us on social media. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, which those are on your screen. Our colleague Victoria will post the application to the Parent Leadership Network cohort in the chat. We also hope that you sign up for our movement updates, stay connected to our newsletter. During legislative session, we will send out a weekly email with updates coming from Tallahassee. And lastly, we hope you join our future calls, which bring together people across Florida sharing best practices. So we've hosted hospital systems, childcare providers, parent leaders, and others who share information about early childhood issues and opportunities. And so we're excited to do this together. Advocacy takes all of us, and I'm really excited to see the next phase of the Parent Leadership Network.
There is
there
a
you go.
question.
There's a question.
There's a question. Yeah, someone's asking how many participants will be in the fellowship.
Oh yeah, we're gonna select a group of 10 parents this time. So if you want to be one of them, go ahead and apply. Yeah. It's really a treat for you if you feel connected to your community and doing more without necessarily becoming someone else, like it's just working on you and understanding how the context and the process of things work for decision making so that your story can fit in that context. Okay. So I leave that up a little bit longer. The link is also in the chat. As a reminder, if you have friends you want to invite for the July 29th session, please do so. We are sharing this link only in our info sessions. And if you are interested in applying, we truly, truly ask you before going ahead and applying to participate in an info session. There's going to be a recording available afterwards, because otherwise, sometimes applicants don't know all the information and the commitment it requires, because it's a both ways, right? Like we're providing this platform for you, the resources, the experts, the exposure to our context and everything that we just talked about, but we also expect for you to be there, raising your hand all the time, engaging with the activities, participating and taking it all in. So it's a both ways commitment here.
Rocio, I
Mhm.
would like to ask, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
people to share a little bit about how did you hear about this opportunity? What brought you here today? Like, did a friend tell you? Did an organization you engage with? If you all feel comfortable sharing that.
Love that. And you can open your mics as well. We still have a few minutes left here. Or share in the chat.
I'll go. Hi everyone. Tyler O'Neill. I know about this opportunity because I'm in the same building as the Children's Movement down in Miami-Dade. I work at the United Way Miami, and I am subscribed to just about every single thing that you all provided in the chat. But I also think this is an exciting opportunity because this is aligned not only with the work that we do at the United Way, as far as like family engagement and early childhood, but just personally as a mother of two young children. Um, I have personally referred to a lot of advice from the Children's Movement of Florida, and it has really personally helped me. So I just think this is a great opportunity, whether it's for myself or for the people that I work for. So I just think this is super valuable.
Thank you,
Love
Tyler.
it. Love it. Welcome, Tyler. Thank you for being here. I see from Ashley, my kids are in the HEPE program. Yay for the HEPE program. We're fans of the HEPE program in Gainesville, and they told me about this. Lovely. I subscribe to the Children's Movement, and this is from Brandy. Children's Movement and emails, and I have been looking for more ways to get involved as a parent. I love it, Brandy. Welcome. First Steps Preschool, Miss Josephine throughout this would be a good fit for me. Oh, nice. So a preschool teacher recommended you for this. I love that. Janine says, my CEO with Generation O, the National Organization for Opioid Exposed Children, sent me that information. I am the director for Florida, and I am always looking for more information and ways to advocate for children like my son. I love that. And Lily says, I heard it from ELC in Palm Beach. So it looks like all our partners get into the action of sharing this information, and I love it. Feel blessed and feel privileged that they had encouraged you to come to this group. If it resonated with you, if this is something that is sparkling things, go ahead and apply. Just go ahead and apply. You can trust us. This is a new group of parents that we are building together, and we really want to be there for you. We value your stories, even though we don't know them yet, because we know how powerful you are just to have the curiosity to come to this info session, right? So thank you all for dedicating your time to find out more. I learned about the movement from a friend. I'm outreach representative with two special needs children, and I am ready to feel the world about everything it looks to get my family the help they need to grow. Fantastic. Perfect. Catalyst Miami, yay. So you see all the partners, they just got
Mhm.
are we going to receive this recording? Yes, you're going to receive a follow-up email with the video and with a link to apply. We might wait until after the 29th. I'm not sure about that because that's managed by our communications team, but definitely please keep the link with you and and you will receive a recording. Thank you very much. I will ask you to leave a word in the chat before we disconnect. How are you feeling after receiving all this information? What's in your minds? Is this something that makes sense for you? One word, three words, however you want to share that with us. We will be happy to learn what is happening on your spaces behind the screens. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh,
It's nice.
oh, yeah. Okay, I hope to read your name somewhere in their applications.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.